three facts that change the world. Gospel is an old Saxon word meaning God's spell, which refers to its great power over man, Romans 1, verse 16. The word gospel is found in 98 verses in the Bible. It is used 104 times in those verses. It is not found in the Old Testament, but it is found in every book of the New Testament except John, Titus, 2 Peter, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and Jude. The gospel is the good news, euangelion, of how to be saved. The history of Christ's coming into the world to save sinners is, without doubt, the best news that ever came from heaven to earth. No less than an angel said, "Behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people," Luke chapter 2, verse 10. The gospel contains facts to be believed, commands to be obeyed, and promises to be enjoyed. 1 Corinthians 15, verses 1 through 3. There are three facts of the gospel that are of primary importance. Christ's, number 1, death, 2, burial, and 3, resurrection. Let's examine these three facts. Fact number 1, Christ died for man's sin. While the gospel is good news, it has at the heart a tragedy, the death of Christ for our sins. God was able to use this horrible event in the most welcome news we ever received. The death of Jesus unfolded in a series of events. Jesus was betrayed and arrested. Matthew 26, verse 47 through 56, John 18, verses 1 to 13. He was bound by his enemies, John 18:12, and forsaken by his disciples, Matthew 26, verse 56. Jesus was tried by the Jews, Matthew 26, verse 57 through 68. He was first taken to Annas, the deposed high priest and the power behind the scenes, John 18, verse 13, and then to Caiaphas, the official high priest, John 18, verse 24. During this trial, Jesus was taunted, spit upon, and buffeted, Matthew 26, verse 67 and 68. He was slapped, hit with rods, and struck perhaps in the mouth, John 18, verse 22. Even the servants joined in, Mark 14, verse 65. He was kept up all night, Matthew 27, verse 1, and had no food or drink after the Last Supper. During this time, Jesus was denied by Peter, Matthew 26, verse 69 through 75, Luke 22, verse 61. Eventually, although innocent, he was wrongfully convicted of blasphemy, which was punishable by death in the Jewish system. Jesus was tried by the Romans, Matthew 27, verses 1 to 25. He was bound and taken from the Jewish Sanhedrin to Pilate's headquarters, Matthew 27, verses 1 and 2. The charge was changed from blasphemy to revolt because the Romans would not execute for blasphemy, but they would for revolt, Luke 23, verse 2. Pilate tried to pass the buck by sending Jesus to King Herod, Luke 23, verses 6 through 12, who only mocked him and sent him back to Pilate. Next, Judas tried to stop the proceedings, but he was unsuccessful, Matthew 27, verses 3 through 10. Convinced that Jesus was innocent, Pilate tried to stop the crucifixion by offering to free either Jesus or Barabbas, a notorious criminal he did not think the people would choose. They chose Barabbas and insisted that Jesus be crucified, Matthew 27, verses 16 and 17, Mark 15, verse 7, Luke 23, verse 18. Pilate's wife tried to stop the crucifixion, Matthew 27, verse 19. Pilate tried for the third time, Luke 23, verse 22 and 23. He then washed his hands and signed off on the greatest travesty of justice ever perpetuated, Matthew 27, verse 26. Jesus was then scourged, Matthew 27, 26, John 19, verse 1. This required that he be stripped of his clothing, although it was cold, John 18, verse 18. He was mercilessly beaten with a whip and then reclothed, Matthew 27, verse 28. The Roman soldiers at the Praetorium then stripped him again, clothed him in a scarlet robe, put a crown of thorns on his head, hit him with a reed, spit upon him, and smote him with their hands. Matthew 27, verses 27 to 31, John 19, verse 3. Pilate then presented him to the people, saying, "Behold the man," John 19, verse 5. After this, Jesus was led to the place of execution, Matthew 27, verse 32 through 34, Luke 23, verse 26 through 32. They took the purple robe off, put his own clothes on him, Matthew 27, verse 31, and paraded him down the city streets to Golgotha. At some point, Simon was summoned to bear the cross after Jesus, Luke 23, verse 26. Arriving on site, he refused to drink vinegar and gall, Matthew 27, verse 34, and Mark 15, verse 23, which was usually given to deaden some of the terrific pain. Jesus was crucified, Matthew 27, 35 through 50. This started the third hour, which was 9 a.m., Mark 15, verse 25. It became completely dark at the sixth hour, which was noon, Mark 15, verse 33. Jesus died at the ninth hour, 3 p.m., Mark 15, verses 34 through 37. During this time, Jesus prayed for the soldiers, Luke 23, 34, who had caused him such pain. While on the cross, Jesus suffered physically, thirst, John 19, 28, and emotionally, forsaken by the Father, Matthew 27, 46. Then Jesus died, Matthew 27, verse 50. Fact number 2, Christ's burial. Isaiah prophesied details about the burial of Jesus 7 centuries before it occurred. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, Isaiah 53, verse 9. Jesus' dead body was still on the cross when Joseph went to Pilate and requested permission to bury it, Luke chapter 23, verses 50 through 53. When Pilate granted it, Joseph took the body and, with the help of Nicodemus, prepared it for burial, using about 100 pounds of myrrh and aloes, John 19, verse 39. Then Joseph wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his new tomb, which he had hewn out of the rock, and he rolled a great stone against the door of the tomb and departed. Matthew 27, verses 57 through 60. Fact 3, Christ's resurrection. The underlying proposition to the whole Bible is Acts 13, verse 30. God raised him from the dead. If this is not true, then there is no gospel. You could throw the Bible in the garbage, for it would contain no hope for humanity. But thanks be to God, it is true. How do we know? Jesus promised that he would rise again, and he never told a lie, Matthew 20, verse 19, chapter 27, verses 62 to 64, and 1 Peter 2, verses 21 and 22. The Bible records it, and it is the world's most trustworthy source. Matthew 28, verses 1 through 6, 2 Timothy 3, verses 16 and 17. Angels attested to it, and they are greater than any man who says otherwise. Luke 24, verses 5 and 6, 2 Peter 2 and verse 11. The early church believed it, and they were in the same generation with the eyewitnesses. Acts 1, verse 3. The rapid change of the day of worship from Saturday to Sunday gives further evidence of it. Luke 4:16, Acts 2, verse 1. The conversions of 2 individuals are persuasive that the resurrection was real. First, consider the conversion of James, the Lord's half-brother. He was an unbeliever during Christ's lifetime, John 7, verse 5. Yet after the resurrection, James was a leader in the Jerusalem church, Acts 1, verse 14, chapter 15, verses 13 through 21, 1 Corinthians 15, verse 7, and Galatians 1, verse 19. The only explanation for such a radical change and loyal following is that he believed in the resurrection. An even more convincing conversion is that of Saul of Tarsus, who went from persecutor, Acts 9, verse 1, to persecuted, Acts 9, 22 through 24, not long afterward. He passed from threatening the disciples to perils by my own countrymen, 2 Corinthians 11, verses 24 through 28, almost overnight. What could have brought about such a change in a man of superior intelligence and ability? Nothing short of the proof of the resurrection of Christ. These 3 simple facts changed the world forever.